Hi and welcome to Hannah Channel. I'm Liz. So it has been quite a week. I think it's been more than a week. Yeah. I'm very bad at following up on my vlogs. So Friday the 10th, I had my hematologist appointment. I was set to go back to the hematologist on Monday, my OBGYN on Tuesday, and then go from there. Because my due date wasn't till Thursday, December 16th. But Friday night, I was sitting on the couch with Genevieve, and Genevieve was getting really cranky because she didn't take a nap, and she was getting ready to fall asleep. And I was getting like a really uncomfortable feeling in my belly. It came and went. I got a little worried about it. Like throughout the day, I was trying to get everything ready because I had like a feeling that like something was gonna happen soon. So I was trying to get that ready. I did wrap like 2 Christmas presents. They were for our friends because we were supposed to go to the light show during the weekend, and we obviously didn't do that. So again, with the feeling, I texted John and I was like, hey, like I'm getting a really uncomfortable pain in my belly. Genevieve's getting a little bit out of hand. How long are you going to stream downstairs for, since he's been doing his little stream on the computer? He never answered, and then I had bought Super Bowl boxes, so I texted him like maybe 5 minutes later saying I bought Super Bowl boxes, and he wrote okay. So I was like, alright, I guess he read both my text messages. Maybe he'll be up in a few minutes. So Genevieve started falling asleep. She was laying on my belly a weird way, so I had to get up. So I kind of like maneuvered myself to the floor. I was like kneeling over the couch, and like I just felt a little bit of pain, and then all of a sudden I felt like I was peeing myself. It wasn't like a lot, it was a little bit, but I was like, oh my god, am I peeing myself right now? I tried to like hold it and I couldn't. It just kept coming out. It wasn't too bad, like it didn't get on the floor, it just like got all over my pants and stuff like that. So I had to call John, and you can hear John like talking to like his streamers, like saying that he had to go and stuff like that. Then he comes upstairs and he's like freaking out. He had to help me up. Genevieve's now sleeping. John was like, oh my god, I gotta go to the car, I gotta put in the car seat and stuff like that. I was like, we have time. I was like, I'm gonna call my OBGYN in a few minutes. Everything's basically pretty much together. He didn't realize that. He like ran in Genevieve's room too and started like trying to pull out clothes because she's gonna go to his mom's, but like I already had it done. So all he had to do was put the bags in the car and stuff like that, and I was like, whatever we could forget, we could just have my little sister like bring up, if anything, to the hospital, because you're allowed to have like 1 vaccinated guest come from I think 2 to 4. So like who even knows if we're actually gonna have this baby? Who even knows if like that was my water breaking and stuff like that? I'll have to go in and get checked, and it's not like I'm having like super together contractions. So like I'm just doing different things. I like wanted to sanitize the bottles. I never got to that, so the bottles were all over the place. So he came back in after doing the car seat and stuff, and he's like, all right, did you call? I was like, no, I didn't call. And he's like, you need to call. We need to get to my mom's. Like, we need to get to the hospital. I was like, why are you freaking out so much? Like, I should be the one freaking out if anything. So anyway, we get everything in the car. We lock up. We put Genevieve in the car. We drive to his mom's house. I stay in the car. He brings everything in. He brings Genevieve in, gets Genevieve all settled. Then we drove to the hospital. It took like a half hour to get there. Once we got to the hospital, we went through the emergency department since it was like 10 something and the front closes at 10. So we got in there, and like I was getting like looks from people, because like you go right in. You just go to like the lady at the end, and then she checks you in and then sends you up to labor and delivery. But people are like, oh, it's time, it's time. I was like, this is so embarrassing. Like, you guys are like in the ER department trying to cheer on me to go give birth. Like, no thanks. So finally we go up. I have to get changed. my feet were swollen, so it was really hard to put on the hospital socks. And with my belly, it was just hard to do anything. I got in, had to lay down in bed. They asked me all the questions that they asked me again last time. Then when everything was situated, the doctor came in, checked me, said I was only a centimeter, and that I definitely lost membranes. So they wanted to keep me there overnight to see how things go. They had to place like an IV in my arm. They placed it in my left arm at first, and then they blew out my vein. So they had to switch to the right. And I've never really had an IV in my right arm. I've never really done much in my right arm. I am right-handed, so it did put a damper that it was like placed in my hand, and it had to be in there for days. So yeah, they took my blood from both arms too throughout the whole entire visit, and it was annoying, but what am I gonna do? So yeah, they took my blood. They had to rerun my blood to make sure that I am O negative, and that way they know that they have to give me the RhoGAM shot after birth as long as the baby doesn't have my blood type. That way it protects me. So yeah, basically, the nurse just came and went. John took a nap. He watched some Netflix. I kind of stayed up and watched Midnight Madness, like a loaf ball thing that we have in our like softball community. The lady was like, I have a high pain tolerance, so if I'm gonna get the IV Demerol, because I don't want to do the epidural scares me. There's just a lot of things, like a big needle. I have to be alone. I have to get numb. And if I move and they miss the spot, I could be paralyzed. So like that freaks me out. I don't like it. And I really didn't want a catheter. So I've never gotten a catheter before, thank God, like knock on wood. But I wanted to be able to like get up and go to the bathroom when I needed to. So she was like, don't wait too long. It's your second kid. If you wait too long, you're not gonna be able to get it. I'm like, all right. So I'll just wait until I get a little bit uncomfortable. Because here I am thinking that maybe I'm like now like a 5 or something. So I was like, you know what? It was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'll just ask for it. That way I can go to sleep and stuff like that. And maybe it'll make me progress more. So I got it at a 3. I was only at a 3. And I was like, damn, I messed up. Because she said that it works like best the first time. So basically it was making me all drowsy while I was trying to watch like Twilight. And then finally I went to sleep. I woke up. It was probably like 7 o'clock in the morning. The doctor came back in, checked me. I was still only at a 3. And then she like popped the rest of my water. And it was just like leaking out. Like it was so much water. So much water. And like the lady was trying to get towels, and then she went outside and came back in and was like, oh, I guess there's a towel shortage. So she only had like 1 towel, and literally like the whole entire bed was wet, and like the whole entire floor was wet because I had to get up to go to the bathroom. And like my robe was wet, my socks were wet. I was just like, it was just like a huge mess. And every time I kept feeling gushes and gushes and gushes and gushes. And I like called her back in after like she got everything cleaned up and stuff like that. And she's like, oh no, that's normal. That's normal. I was like, all right, with like my first, I just had like a ginormous gush of water, and that was it. Like when my water broke. So she's like, I can go find another towel, and then you can just leave it near you and just deal with the gushing. Like, I kept turning to John, and I'm like, John, this does not feel right. Like, this just is very uncomfortable. Like, I've never felt uncomfortable like this in my life. But I guess it's normal, but I didn't know that, and I feel like it's not that normal. But yeah, so, maybe like a half hour, 40 minutes later, I got checked again. Because I felt like I was just in a lot of pain, and I was only at a 4. So I'm like, all right, like, I guess I can deal with this a little longer. So maybe like 20 minutes go by, 25 minutes go by, and I'm in like so much pain. Like, I'm like crying to John. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't deal with the pain. And he's like, just get the epidural. I was like, I don't want the epidural. I consented to the epidural just in case I needed a C-section or if I really, really needed it that bad. And I'm like, I just want, like, the IV stuff. Like, I don't think they're going to give it to me again. They didn't offer it to me again. So finally I was like, you know what? I guess I'm going to have to get the epidural. Like, I guess I'm going to have to man up and get it. So I had John hit the nurse's button because I couldn't do it. I was in so much pain. And the nurse came in. She was like, oh, you want the epidural? I was like, yeah, I'll take the epidural because, like, I already got the IV medication and, like, it didn't help. It didn't do anything because I used it at the wrong time. And she's like, oh, we can give it to you again. The doctor just has to come in here and check you. And we have to get the approval for it. I was like, all right, I'll take the IV Demerol again, like, as long as I don't have to get the epidural. So here I am still, like, crying in pain because it hurts so bad. And then, like, the doctor came in and I was like, honestly, like, it feels like I need a push. Like, I need a push. I was like, I'm in that much pain that it feels like he's ready to come. So he checked me and then he was like, all right, you're at an 8 now. And then he's like, just give it a little bit. You can't get the epidural or the IV Demerol now. Like, you're in it it's too late because the baby will come out drowsy, very sleepy, and we don't need that because the Demerol goes from me to him. So I definitely didn't want to do that, and they wouldn't allow me to do that. So I had to deal with the pain. And the IV in my arm hurts. Like, I'm, like, terrified to, like, push or anything like that. And, like, John's trying to help me through it. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want this pain no more. So then maybe like 15-20 minutes later, they checked me again. I was at a 9 and I guess I was stuck at a 9 because my cervix wouldn't open all the way. So the doctor was like trying to help my cervix open all the way because like he could tell that I needed a push, and the baby is gonna get stuck on my cervix and he's not gonna be able to come out. So I was like, oh crap, like I'm probably gonna need a C-section or whatever. So finally they got everything, like everything fell from the sky, like the ceiling. They put the stuff up on the bed, and the doctor, I guess, with the contractions was trying to like pull my cervix apart, like to open full to a 10, which hurt so bad. I was hating it. Then finally they got ready for me to start pushing, and now like I'm not even drugged up like I was with Genevieve. Genevieve, I don't even like remember half the stuff. Like all this stuff is just fresh in my head because now I remember it all, and I have no drugs and no freaking numbness in my legs and stuff like that. So it was very traumatizing. They like wanted me to push, and I felt like I needed to like breathe while I was pushing, but they wanted like, it was like 10 long seconds like that I had to hold my breath and like hunch forward and push, and it was just like burning and uncomfortable. And here I am thinking that I'm gonna be able to do this and it's gonna be like done in like 10 minutes or less. And the way like I was gripping on the bed, because I couldn't really hold John's hand to push, because the IV hurt, so they like gave me these handle things to try to push. And like when I got contractions and I wasn't really able to push, I kept grabbing onto John. Like I kept giving him a hug like around his neck and like pushing like him into my chest because it hurt so bad, and I was just crying into his shoulder. And like he was wearing his glasses, so his glasses was getting like smashed into his face, and he had like a mask on, so I was basically like suffocating him for like the seconds that I had my contractions. I felt really bad, but like it was like the only way it was helping me. And I was like, these nurses probably think I'm like a weirdo, like choking out my husband over here. So yeah, when I was pushing, I guess I wasn't hunching forward enough, so John had to like grab my neck and my head and like pull me forward. I felt like a freaking like a frog or something. And like these ladies, like these two ladies are like grabbing my feet and like pushing me forward, like backwards and stuff like that. And I kept doing like 3 sets of pushes like within the contractions, and I just couldn't do it anymore. I was like, I don't know what round number I was at, but I couldn't do it. They were like, you're doing so good, you're such a good pusher. I was like, I can't do it. Like, honestly, like vacuum him out or do something. Like, I guess I was having trouble, like, breathing properly, I guess you can say, because my heart rate was going up, and the little heart monitor that they had on me to get his heartbeat, they were losing the heartbeat, so they had to keep going down with the heart monitor to try to track where he was, and his heartbeat was like fading out and dropping, so like I needed it to make sure that he was out. So they were like rush pushing me like to get him out, and he was stuck. Like, unfortunately, he wasn't facing the right way. He was facing up towards the ceiling. He was head down, but he was facing up towards the ceiling. So it made it harder for me to get him out because his face was not in the right position. So pushing him out kind of obviously caused me to tear, but it made it like I was pushing out a bigger baby because of the way the head was coming out. So he's basically looking at everybody when he was born. Finally, when he got out, he was a big baby, so they were like, oh my god, like the doctor was like, he's definitely like 9 pounds. I was like, holy crap, like I just pushed out like a 9-pound baby. Like, you guys just told me the other day that I was 7'10", and here I am like pushing out a 9-pound baby, and you're telling me it was like I was pushing out a 10-pound baby because his face was sunny side up. So now here I am, like out of breath, like grateful that I didn't need like an emergency C-section. Now they put the baby on me, and I had my mask on, and the doctor's like, just pull down your mask and say hello to your baby and blah blah blah. They put him on my lap for like my lap stomach for like 2 seconds, and then they pulled him away so that way John could go cut the umbilical cord. And then the doctor was dealing with like delivering the placenta and stuff like that, and I guess I had a lot of bleeding where I was like hemorrhaging, and they couldn't get it to stop. And after I delivered the placenta, that some of it was stuck on my cervix, so he had to go in and scoop it out, and he was having a hard time grabbing it. So I was like feeling everything and all the pain, and if he didn't get it out, things were gonna get bad. And then because I was bleeding a lot and he was trying to get it under control, that they had to give me some shot in my leg. Ooh. I don't know what the shot was called. My hematologist asked what the shot was called, because I had to go to the hematologist on Monday to follow up for like my surgery, I guess you can say, like a hospital visit thing. The hematologist went good though. I don't have to go back for another month because I'm still fresh from recovery from him. So they needed to know how anemic I am, and it can't be basically based off him. So yeah. So they gave me the shot in my leg, and I guess it worked to make me not bleed as much. And then they had to keep pressing on belly and stuff like that. But they finally got what was stuck out. John never heard me yell at a doctor before. I did get mean with the doctor. I literally said to him, I was like, can you not? Like, can you just give me a break? Like, I need a break. Like, this hurts way too bad. I was literally crying in pain, and John was literally watching the whole entire thing. The doctor did not cover me. John literally saw everything. He barely saw anything with Genevieve. He watched the placenta get delivered, but that's only because he went to go cut Genevieve's cord. But he didn't really see much with Genevieve. This time he saw everything. He didn't want to see everything, but everything was right there, and he had to help, and he really didn't do that much with Genevieve. And here he is with Anthony, doing the most. So finally he got it out. He was like, I'm sorry, I know you hate me, but this is what's best, and I need to get it out as soon as possible, and I can't stop. You just have to deal with it. You're doing good. We're gonna just do that. I was like, all right, like, I'm just in pain. I want to cry. Then the nurses that were taking care of Anthony was like, he's not moving his shoulder, like his one arm. He's not moving it at all. And now here we are with another issue, and the doctor got all offended because I guess, like, I don't know, John said you could like sue or something like that if like the doctor that delivers like hurts your baby or whatever. And he's like, oh no, the baby like slid right out, like I didn't turn him or anything like that, because some babies come out with like broken collarbones and stuff, or they have to break the baby's collarbone to get the baby out. So they had to call like the NICU and stuff like that and get the doctor up and stuff like that so they can check out the baby. He ended up being fine. I think just from him being my like canal and stuff like that, it just got like, he just wasn't moving it. Like I guess it like fell asleep or something like that, but he's fine. So I didn't do like skin to skin and stuff like that with him. There was just too much going on with me bleeding out basically on the table, and him and his shoulder. John was basically by my side a lot, which was good, while they were taking care of him. And they weighed him. He was 8'14", so he's a very big baby compared to Genevieve at 7'11". They told me he was 7'10". Came out 6 days later, or 5 days later, maybe 5 days later, at a whopping 8'14". He, in the hospital, he did lose 4 ounces. So we brought him home 8'10", and then when he went to his follow-up doctor, he was 8'11". He needs to follow up with the doctor 2 days after I deliver because just to check the jaundice levels. They're good because with my blood and his blood, I'll spike, and if I breastfed, it would spike too. So I was not leaving my baby in the NICU. So I save my babies by formula feeding. Yeah, so the doctor gave me stitches. He said if he came out the right way that I wouldn't have needed stitches, which is what I wanted. I didn't want stitches. I got one more stitch than I did with Genevieve, which was good. I only had like a 2nd-degree tear. I know people that have gotten a lot more stitches, and that sucks. But I'm grateful that I only got 3. I didn't get too many. He's healthy, and now I'm healthy, and we're gonna go into recovery together, and we're basically gonna be able to get like take home our baby soon. So they got me situated. He gave me the stitches. We got the bleeding under control, his arm under control, and everything's good. They wheeled us into the recovery room where we would stay for another 2 days. Everything went fine with him. I felt bad getting him circumcised, but it's kind of like the best option. I felt really bad. I hated every moment of it. When he came back out from being circumcised, I almost cried when I saw him, because it looked so painful, and now it's all better. He's like 10 days old, so it's all healed. He definitely doesn't remember it now, and he's happy. They left the IV in my arm for 2 days, like throughout my whole entire stay, because my blood levels were at a 7.3, and I should have gotten a transfusion before delivery. That's what they told me. But I didn't, and they were like, oh, we might need to give you a transfusion, depending. Like, I was, like, really white as a ghost. Like, I mean, I look anemic still, but I was, like, super anemic looking. Like, John was like, I've never seen you look like this before. Like, it's bad. And plus, like, I'm wearing a mask, and people could tell that I was anemic. Like, his pediatrician was like, you look really anemic. Like, meanwhile, she could just see, like, my forehead and my eyes. I was like, yeah, I am anemic. Thanks. But yeah, that's basically like the birth story. I don't think I left anything out. Yeah, basically I'm recovering. I'm a lot better. John said my recovery was better this time because he said that the drugs messed me up from Genevieve, so I was out of commission for like the rest of the day. With him, I was able to do more things. It was hard for me to change diapers, so he got a lot of the diapers because of the IV in my hand, and he did a lot of the feedings and stuff. He was a really big help. But he was like dying with the sleep and stuff like that, because that chair is so uncomfortable and it's just hot in the room, and there's no nursery and stuff like that. They also gave him his newborn hearing test. He failed it. Genevieve failed hers the first time, and then they did another one too. So they did her twice in the hospital, and she passed it the second time. He didn't get the opportunity to get a second one done. So we went today and he passed. It got me a little worried. So I've been worrying for a while that he might have hearing issues. He's fine. I mean, even if he did have hearing issues, we'd still love him the same and take care of him and do whatever he needs to get done. But he's all good. And I've just been looking at him throughout this whole entire video because he keeps moving around in my arms. This is the little guy. He sleeps just like Genevieve. He looks like Genevieve as an old man. Genevieve's actually taking a nap too. That's why I'm able to do this video. But yeah, they're both napping together. He sleeps just like John, and so does Genevieve. It's so weird. My arm's gonna like fall off from holding this phone for like 27 minutes. But yeah, I don't think I really left anything out. No. Just that I felt like when they told me I was bleeding too much, I thought I was gonna die or have to go into surgery. When he was stuck, I thought I was gonna have to get a C-section. Like, all these bad thoughts were in my mind, but I'm okay and I'm here. I thought I wanted another kid. I definitely don't know about that now. It wouldn't be for a while. It wouldn't be like for like 4 or 5 years. But I don't know how I can do that if I'm in like my 30s. I don't know how these people do it. Kudos to them, and kudos to people who have to push out like twins, because I would never be able to do that. I mean, a lot of people get epidurals. Kudos to them, because I don't think I could ever get an epidural. But kudos to me for not having anything and delivering naturally. It was the worst mistake of my life. But I did it, and now I can say I finally did it, just like fully natural with no medication and no epidural. Last time I had the medication, it messed me up. This time I didn't, and it still messed me up. Alright, so basically that's it. I'm gonna put a little video of like the hospital stuff, and then like a little video of AJ, because we got little Anthony James here. So yeah, basically that's it, and I guess I'll just update when he does stuff that's cute. Like rolling over and sitting up and walking and crawling and eating his first food like I did with Genevieve. So yeah, basically that's it. I'm sorry this is such a long video. If you made it through, congrats. And yeah, alright, I'll see you soon.